What's up, y'all? It's your boy Saucy Rossi, and you're watching my month of June recipe compilation video. Really appreciate you stopping by. We got lots of fun recipes here, a lot of steak school videos as well. You're really going to enjoy this one, so make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and you enjoy yourself. These recipes are great. What's up, class? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Today, I'm bringing you back to steak school. We're talking about the Picanha steak. Holy cow, this is a steak that deserves top billing in your steak rotation. This beauty came from my local butcher, Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and it's proof that you don't need a ribeye or a filet to eat like royalty. If you've never had it before, don't worry. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly what it is, why it's so beloved in Brazilian barbecue, and how to cook it like a pro. So before we jump into it, I'm just going to note I'm actually only cooking half of a picanha steak in this video. I live in a two-person household, and it would be unreasonable for me to cook the entire thing. So sliced it down the center, perfect for two people, honestly up to four really. Seasoned it with some delicious sea salt, thyme and rosemary sea salt from the South Shore Sea Salt Company, and as well I hit it with some cracked pepper. That's super important here. But I did the pepper after I let it salt brine for just a little bit. Now let's jump into this. So what is a picanha? A picanha is a triangular cut of beef from the top sirloin cap. It's technically known as the bicep femoris muscle. It's part of the top sirloin butt subprimal, and it sits just above the rump, beneath that generous fat cap that makes the steak so iconic. This cut is extremely popular in Brazil, where it's the undisputed king of the grill. Recently, it's been picking up traction in North America, so I knew I had to drop a video on it. Now, depending on your butcher, it might be labeled as one of the following: a top sirloin cap, a culotte steak, a rump cover, a rump cap, or a sirloin cap roast. But if you ask for a picanha, a good butcher, like the one I go to at Vessel Meats, will know exactly what you're looking for. So why is picanha special? Well, here's what sets it apart. The fat cap. Roughly a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch thick, it renders down beautifully as you cook, basting the meat with rich, beefy flavor. The grain and texture that runs diagonally, it makes it easy to slice against the grain. For tenderness, it's so simple and so juicy. You'll see some slices in here in not too long. So for the flavor profile, it's not overly marbled like a ribeye, but the combination of lean plus that external fat cap really gives it a clean, buttery richness without excessive grease. It's incredible. Now, the size, it's normally 2 to 3 pounds whole, making it perfect for slicing into steak portions or grilling it whole as a roast. You can see here I'm using it as a roast with a reverse sear method. So it hits the perfect trifecta of bold flavor, solid tenderness, and visual appeal, especially when grilled properly. So there's 3 reliable methods you can use for cooking picanha. I'll lightly touch on them. The number 1 way would be Brazilian style skewers. They slice it with the grain into 2-inch thick steaks, fold them into C shapes, fat side out, and then skewer them, over heavy heat. And they rotate them every 2 to 3 minutes, just bringing them up to about 135 internal. The second option is a reverse sear, which you're seeing here. Keep the whole fat cap intact. Season it generously with coarse salt and a dry rub. Smoke it until it's about 120. Then you're going to sear it fat side down so it kind of renders out. Then you'll finish off the other sides, searing them in that rendered fat. Just rest it, and this is kind of what you get: deliciousness. Then the final way is just simply in a cast iron, grilling it steak style. Cut it into thin steaks, just grill it up. It's just that simple, guys. So a tip when you're cutting picanha into steaks, though, always slice with the grain so that when you're grilling, you can slice against the grain on the plate. That's super, super important. So for seasoning and flavor pairings, traditional barbecue from Brazil keeps it simple, just coarse salt. But picanha is a flavor sponge, so it works beautifully with many different types of seasonings. So have fun with it. You can do everything from just what I did here, simple herbs, to all the way up to coffee rubs or chimichurri. There's so many cool, unique types and things you can do here. So when you're slicing and serving, that's always key. You always want to slice against the grain. Picanha has a diagonal grain, so it's best to look for the muscle fiber direction and cut perpendicular to it. Where can you get it? Well, any butcher should have this cut available to you. If you ask for a picanha or any of its alias names, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. I personally highly recommend Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. If you're close by, they consistently have top quality cuts, including picanha, with the fat cap on, the way it always should be. Anyway, my final thoughts. Picanha is everything you want in a steak. Rich flavor, perfect texture, and the visual appeal. It's affordable, it cooks up beautifully with just a little attention, and it adds something totally unique to your grilling lineup. Whether you serve it at the backyard barbecue, slice into it for tacos, or pair it with some chimichurri and a bottle of red, the picanha steak delivers big flavor with serious versatility. So a quick recap. Cut the top sirloin cap, aka the picanha. Value, high flavor, budget friendly. Cook hot and fast or reverse sear. Seasoning, salt heavy with a minimal dry rub alongside. Temperature to bring it up to 135 internal. Rest and slice against the grain, and remember, don't trim that fat cap. Thanks for attending Steak School today. You take care, stay safe, and remember, barbecue for life.
What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi bringing you straight to Steak School. Today, we're talking about one of the most underrated cuts in the butcher case, the flat iron steak. This cut doesn't get nearly the spotlight it deserves, but once you try it, you'll see why it's a serious contender for the best value steak on the grill. I picked this one up from Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and I gave it a generous coat of Maritime Madness Mesquite dry rub, which brings a bold, smoky edge that complements the natural beef flavor perfectly. Now let's break this cut down. The flat iron steak is taken from the top blade of the chuck primal, which is part of the shoulder, a part of the cow that typically works hard, so people often assume it's tough. But flat iron steak is seriously an exception. The key is how it's butchered. The top of the blade has a thick line of tough connective tissue running through its center. When a butcher removes that seam, you're left with two long steaks that are just incredibly tender. In fact, the flat iron ranks second only to the tenderloin on the tenderness scale, but brings way more beefy flavor. Texture-wise, it has a buttery mouthfeel with a bit of structure. Not mushy, not chewy. Just right. You get that satisfying bite you expect from a steak without needing a steak knife to get through it. What makes the flat iron really special, though, is its marbling. For a cut from the shoulder, it's surprisingly well marbled, with thin veins of intermuscular fat running throughout. That fat renders beautifully when cooked hot and fast, adding moisture and richness without being greasy. Now, when it comes to seasoning, this cut is a blank canvas. I hit it with a solid layer of Maritime Madness Mesquite dry rub about 30 to 40 minutes before cooking. That gives the salt time to draw a bit of the moisture to the surface, helping form that crust, and the mesquite flavor adds smoky depth without needing to fire up the smoker. Flat iron also takes well to marinades, especially those with acidity. Think citrus, balsamic vinegar, or red wine. But you don't need a marinade if the meat is quality, like this one from Vessel Meats. Holy cow. Cooking flat iron is simple but rewarding. Because of its relative thin and uniform shape, it cooks quickly and evenly. Whether you're using a ripping hot cast iron pan or direct heat on the grill, like I am right here on my Napoleon charcoal grill, I like to bring it up to a medium rare, or just before that, rare, medium rare. Most people would go to 135. Personally, I brought this to 130, and then I let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. That rest is crucial. It lets the juices redistribute so you don't lose them all over the cutting board. And here's a pro tip. Always slice flat iron against the grain. The muscle fibers in this cut are pretty visible. and slicing across them shortens the fiber and makes every bite more tender. Cut it the wrong way, and you'll think it's tougher than it really is. You'll notice that the flat iron has a flat rectangular shape, which makes it easy to portion and serve. It's a great choice for steak sandwiches, fajitas, tacos, or just sliced up and plated with some roasted vegetables and chimichurri. And because of its richness from the marbling, a little goes a long way. You don't need to eat a giant portion to feel satisfied. Now, not every butcher labels this as a flat iron. Depending on where you shop, you might see it called a top blade steak, butler's steak, or shoulder top blade. But if you're working with a solid local shop like Vessel Meats, just ask for a flat iron. They'll know exactly what you mean. Bottom line, the flat iron steak is tender, flavorful, well-marbled cut that cooks fast, eats like a high-end steak, and doesn't cost a fortune. With the right rub, like Maritime Madness Mesquite, and a hot grill or skillet, it delivers big on flavor with very little effort. And if you've been stuck in a ribeye rut, this is your sign to branch out. Seriously, I plated this up with some corn and some mashed potatoes, and it was delectable. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for coming to steak school today. Hey, behave well or you'll get steak detention. I don't even know what that means. Take care.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Steak School. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Boston Sirloin, an underrated, not well enough known cut of beef that's absolutely delicious. Now, in the video, I'm going to be cooking it to a perfect medium rare. But remember, you cook it to whatever makes you happy. The main thing here, though, I'm going to tell you all about this cut of beef. So let's get started. Today, we're talking about a seriously underrated cut, the Boston Sirloin. This beauty comes from my local butcher, Vessel Meats, and if you've never heard of it, you're not alone. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly why this steak deserves more love on the grill. So what is a Boston Sirloin? Technically, it's a subprimal cut that sits at the intersection of value and flavor. It's taken from the sirloin section of beef. Specifically, it's from the top sirloin butt, and depending on how your butcher breaks it down, it can include part of the top sirloin cap or even sneak in a bit of the gluteus medius muscle. That's a lot of autonomy to say it's meaty, it's beefy, and when handled right, it can deliver steakhouse results without the ribeye price tag. Texture-wise, Boston Sirloin has a slightly firmer bite than a strip loin or a fillet, but don't let that scare you. That firmness comes with serious flavor. It's the kind of steak that rewards a proper sear and benefits big time from a rest after cooking. You want that moisture to stay locked in. Now, one thing you'll notice right away is the marbling. It's not heavily marbled as a ribeye, but a good Boston Sirloin will still show those intermuscular fat veins that render down beautifully. Now, these steaks that I picked up from Vessel Meats, well, they don't have too big of a fat cap. But if you did have a fat cap, you can simply score it with a knife to help rendering and to get that crispy texture. Because this cut comes from the hard-working muscle, it responds best to medium rare or medium. Anything beyond that, you're kind of risking chewiness. But give it some love on a hot grill or a cast iron pan, rest it for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll be rewarded with a bold, beefy bite that's super satisfying. It's also a great candidate for a marinade or a dry rub, as you can see like I did in this video. The surface area takes on flavor really well. Personally, I like to hit it with whatever beef rub I'm currently using. You know, you can throw on some black pepper, some garlic, some salt. That'd probably be good enough. One last note, this cut is not always labeled as a Boston Sirloin in every butcher shop. Some places might call it a sirloin steak, sirloin butt steak, or top butt. But if you've got a good local butcher like Vessel Meats, just ask for the Boston cut specifically. They'll know what you mean. Bottom line, Boston Sirloin is a hard-working cut that delivers big flavor, cooks beautifully with a little attention,
and doesn't break the bank. If you're looking to try something new that still brings that classic steakhouse experience to your backyard grill, this cut is absolutely worth grabbing. As you can see here, this looks absolutely delicious. I have cow cover by Cosmos Q on this that you would have seen earlier. I threw these on my smoker and smoked them up to 130 internal. Then I moved them over to my Napoleon searing station. That's an infrared side burner on my Napoleon grill to really get that perfect sear on the outside and lock in those flavors. So as you can see here, I'm just simply slicing into this to prove that it was an absolutely delicious cook. Every single bite here was tender, juicy, and just so succulent. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed this cut of beef. I appreciate all of you for attending steak school today. I'm going to go through this summer and really point out some wonderful cuts that you can pick up from your local butcher. So make sure you like and subscribe and stick around. I'm your new steak school teacher, Mr. Saucy Rossi. That's actually really funny. I like that. Anyway, check this steak out. A perfect medium rare cook. Delicious. Loved every single bite here. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Like and subscribe. Comment below how you prefer to eat your steak. And once and for all, make sure you remember, thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. Take care and stay safe.
Welcome to Steak School. It's your teacher, Saucy Rossi. Grab a seat. Come on along for the fun. Today we're talking about a cut that doesn't get nearly enough love, the Rancher steak. This one came from my local butcher, Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And if you've never heard of this steak before, you're not alone. But by the end of this video, you'll understand why the Rancher steak deserves way more attention in your steak rotation. So, what is a Rancher steak? Technically, it's a boneless chuck shoulder center cut, also known in some butcher circles as shoulder center steak or chuck center steak. It comes from the chuck primal, specifically the shoulder clod, which is a section known for deep beef flavor and hard-working muscle. The Rancher steak is cut from the teres major and surrounding muscles, which means it's tender for a shoulder cut and absolutely packed with rich, beefy flavor. In plain terms, it's a meaty, bold, budget-friendly cut that lands somewhere between a flat iron and a sirloin in texture. And when treated right, it can rival far more expensive steaks in both flavor and satisfaction. Texture-wise, the Rancher has some chew, but not in a bad way. Think of it as firm but forgiving. The kind of steak that eats hearty but doesn't fight back. It's got that satisfying steak bite and tons of natural beef flavor, especially when cooked right with high heat. A proper sear is key here, and just like any good steak, resting it after the cook is essential to lock in that moisture. Now let's talk marbling. The Rancher steak isn't as heavily marbled as a ribeye, but you'll still find those thin intermuscular lines running through the grain. When grilled or cast iron seared properly, those fat streaks render out beautifully, adding moisture and depth to every bite. The piece I got from Vessel Meats had a nice balance of lean and fat. Oh, you can even get a side fat cap on this cut, and if you do, all you have to do is just score it before grilling it to help it crisp up and render. Because this is a shoulder cut, it does best when cooked to medium rare or medium. Anything over that, you're risking the tenderness and just losing it. The sweet spot is about 130, 135 internal, followed by a 5 to 10 minute rest. Hit with a hot cast iron pan or direct heat on the grill, you are golden. The Rancher steak is also super marinade friendly, but it shines just as well with a dry rub. It has enough surface area to really soak in flavor, which means it's perfect for bold seasoning. I like to go with a straightforward seasoning. As you saw, I used barbacoa spice here by the Royal Nova Company. But you could go with something as simple as, smoked paprika, some crushed garlic, and like salt and pepper, right? Like a nice SPG would work great here. Just enough to amplify that deep beef flavor without overpowering it,
Now, one thing to know, the rancher steak isn't always labeled clearly. Depending on the shop, you might see it called boneless shoulder steak, chuck steak center cut, or even shoulder center. But a good butcher, like the folks at Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, will know exactly what you mean if you ask for a rancher cut specifically. The bottom line, the rancher steak is a hearty, flavorful, affordable cut that rewards a hot sear and a little attention. It's perfect for grilling, cast iron, or even sous vide if you're into precision cooking. And with the right prep, it delivers serious steakhouse flavor without that steakhouse price tag. If you're looking to try something new and support your local butcher while you're at it, the rancher steak is absolutely worth grabbing. So let me know in the comments below. Have you ever tried a rancher steak? Do you think you'll go to your local butcher and check one out? I highly recommend you do. I really enjoyed this cook, really enjoyed this steak. Thanks so much for watching. Glad you're attending steak school. Don't forget to attend all the other classes as well. And remember, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. You can now find me on Reddit too, just starting out there. So make sure you like me on all the socials. Go ahead and follow. Take care, stay safe, and have a wonderful day.
What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I made these absolutely delicious pulled pork sliders. This recipe is so simple and entry level for barbecue low and slow. So if you're new to this world, I highly suggest you stick around, check out this entire video, make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you did end up trying this, what you thought was the best part. It's so delicious and just fun. Come on along for the ride. So starting off here, I smoked an outlandish amount of pork shoulder. I have an entire blade roast and a bone-in shoulder roast. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, guys, but basically I got a new huge offset smoker and it can easily fit this plus way more. So I got really excited and thought to myself, hey, let's go buy a lot of pork. Now I'm seasoning it today with Barbequist spice by the Royal Nova Company. They're based out of Quispamsis, New Brunswick. It's pretty slick, this seasoning. I really enjoy it. It's extraordinarily versatile. It goes fantastic with pork. You probably have seen me cook ribs with it before. I have also made just pulled pork with it before, so it's definitely a must try. Now today I'm using my R&R custom built 180 gallon offset smoker, and I'm using Applewood that I locally sourced from a local apple orchard, Noggins Corner, in the valley of Nova Scotia. Holy cow, though. Look at these two pork shoulders. So I've got them above two tinfoil trays on wire racks, and that's just so that I can kind of like catch the juices, also to keep my offset soaker kind of clean, right? You know, I don't really want all that pork juice dripping in there. It's not the end of the world, but like, you know, just makes things easier to clean up. So we're just rolling low and slow here, you know, 7 or 8 hours of just like 250-ish, you know, 275. Nothing too crazy, nothing too intense. Like I said, low and slow, that's the name of the game. And this R&R custom built offset smoker is perfect for that. It holds temps so beautifully. I love this thing. It's 10 out of 10. Just like these pork shoulders, they're developing a beautiful bark and they're just coming along gorgeously. Now, I've been spritzing them about every hour or so with apple cider vinegar just to make sure that that bark doesn't completely dry out. But boy, oh boy, it's just smelling amazing. That apple wood just smells incredible. And with that hint of pork that's just bellowing off of it, oh buddy, it's just a 10 out of 10. Look at these. They look absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead, pull them off, because what we're going to do next is add a little bit of apple juice into the tinfoil tray with the pork shoulder itself. We want to almost like braise the pork shoulder. That's going to be how we're finishing this off, because 7 or 8 hours isn't totally enough to get these fully up to like 200 degrees. So like I was saying earlier, I'm checking it with a probe regularly, like a meat thermometer, to try and monitor the temperature. And at 165, 170, that's when we're actually pulling it off. And so I grabbed apple juice from Compliments, local to my neighborhood. Sobeys is where I picked this up at. And it's just 100% pure apple juice.
poured some on, I don't know, probably about a third of the container. So that's probably about a third of a liter or so. Nothing, actually, maybe even less than that. Nothing crazy at all. And then we're just going to wrap it in that tin foil, and we're just going to get it back on to either the offset smoker, or if you want to be lazier about this, you can even throw it right in the oven. Where we're wrapping it with tin foil, that smoke isn't going to be penetrating any longer. So using the oven is not only consistent, but it's less effort. So I'm perfectly fine with you taking that route. It just kind of makes sense, right? So what you want to do is throw it in the oven. You want to bring it up to about 200 degrees before you can just throw your hand into it like that. It's just going to shred apart, right? But that's basically it. It's really straightforward. At this point, we just shred it up. So that probably would have been about 7 to 8 hours smoked, and then about 2 more hours in the oven. And when I had it in the oven, I had it at 300. Pork shoulders can actually take a little bit higher heat in the low and slow zone. Normally low and slow means 225 to 275, but you can actually rock a pork shoulder, especially bone in, at 325. I like to bring it down a little bit at 300, but you know me, whatever. Now, let's talk about those delicious sliders. Now, I'm mixing up this pulled pork here with some sweet with a little heat barbecue sauce. This is by Royal Nova Company, the same people that made the dry rub I'm using today. I mixed it in here with this pulled pork, and then I just got it spread out onto a King's Hawaiian roll. Pretty straightforward stuff, making sure that I got a nice thick layer on there. We're going for big old sliders today. These are going to be absolutely fantastic. Holy cow. By the way, I'm having a lot of fun just putting this together. This entire recipe was just simple, straightforward, and easy. And I love those kind of recipes. I love getting the chance to share them with you as well. So yeah, just a 10 out of 10, seriously. Now, honestly, we're getting this fully packed. You don't need to put this much if you don't want to, but I was really hungry. You're going to see when I cut the cross section, you're probably going to say, like, what the hell, man? Okay, let's go ahead. Grab that sweet with a little heat barbecue sauce. Give it one last quick drizzle over top because this stuff tastes fantastic. Throw on some onions. Red onion is what I'm using today, but white onion would have been perfectly fine. And some sliced up pickles. I really enjoy pickles with pulled pork along with onion. Mustard would have been another addition here that I would have enjoyed, but not today. Anyway, some shredded cheese all over this as well, because that's definitely not going to hurt anything here. I mean, when was the last time adding cheese really messed up a recipe, right? Especially with sliders. Then let's top on that lid. We're going to hit it with a little bit of butter, and then at the very end, we're going to put just a touch of that barbecue seasoning we used a little bit earlier, that barbecue spice by Royal Nova Company. Okay, so let's go ahead, just that quick drizzle. Then we're going to throw this in the oven at 325. And basically, you're just waiting until it gets nice and golden brown, and that pulled pork is just going to be ready to go into your gut, right? Check out this cross section. This is hilarious. This is like the king of sliders right here. Check that out. Oh my goodness. That's jam-packed pulled pork perfection. Ready to just get stuffed in my gut and just make me rumble and grumble with some delicious food as I digest. Oh, buddy. This is exactly what I want when I want barbecue. Just a delicious slider packed with that pulled pork, the pickle and onion on there along with that cheese. It's seriously delicious. This is going to be incredible. Oh, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm always dropping recipes just like this, trying to help out regular home cooks just like myself get better at using their barbecues, giving them simple recipes they can follow to get better this season using their grill. So like and subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always dropping recipes, just pictures, and just barbecue content, reviews, interviews, all that kind of stuff. I got a lot of cool things planned this summer. I've been booked into a number of events. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Stick around, have fun, take care, and stay safe.
What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I'm grilling up a delicious pork chop that I sourced locally here at Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It probably was the best pork chop I've ever eaten in my life. No word of a lie. But before we get to that, make sure you like and subscribe. Join my community of home cooks. I'm going to teach you how to be better on the grill. Come on along for the ride. This is an absolute blast. I mean, look at that little dinner there. It's so cute and delicious. Holy cow. Look at this bone-in pork chop. It's actually incredible. That bone in there is going to add a ton of flavor. It has unbelievable marbling. That fat cap actually looks immaculate. Like, it looks perfect. Too good to be true, honestly. That's one of the really good things of going to a local butcher. You're going to get meat that's directly from one of your local farms. And seriously, if you get meat like that, it's almost 10 times better every time. Now, one of the really nice things about this pork chop is it's considerably less than beef prices right now. And you can still get this immaculate cut of meat. Holy guacamole. I was thrilled when my local butcher showed me this pork chop. I knew I had to pick it up. So today I'm going to slice into this fat cap. That's going to help with the rendering process as we cook, because I am cooking this fast and hot. So that fat cap isn't going to have as much time to melt down. So by slicing into it, this just helps with the rendering process. And as you can see, I'm doing my best to just avoid that string. We want to keep that string intact during this, but just be careful. You're using a knife. Next, I'm using my dry rub of choice, which is garden herb. It goes beautifully with pork, and it's by Maritime Madness, but you can use whichever dry rub you prefer. I just recommend you use one that goes good with pork. And holy cow, it's always important. Make sure you fully coat whatever you're cooking, all the sides, including like the fat cap as well. That's really important here. We really want to impart that flavor throughout the entire pork chop. So here we go. I fired up the Napoleon charcoal grill. It's running probably around 450, 500 degrees, and I've thrown this pork chop just right on there, right above the flames, high heat. We're going to start it off like that. Now you can see there, I have a meat thermometer thrown into this pork chop, and that's going to help me perfectly cook this meat. I'm monitoring it, and my goal here is to get it up past 145 internal. Now, most people do say you need to cook pork to 160, but the fact is you only need to cook it to 145. But personally, I like bringing it closer to about 153, 155. I find that just makes me a little more comfortable, and you're going to see during this cook, it turned out perfectly. So as you can see here, I'm getting some good char here. I'm getting a beautiful crust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it onto indirect heat and allow it to finish off. You don't want to keep it over the heat the entire time. And when you do move it onto indirect heat, it's always good to aim the fat cap towards the heat source. So that's going to allow the rendering to continue to go while you still just have this sitting on the barbecue for a few minutes. And as you can see here, this turned out perfectly. Look at that rendered down. It's just flowing with those juices. This looks so delicious and scrumptious. Oh man, I ate this the other night and I'm already thinking about eating it again. Man, this looks absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and pull it off because we hit that 145 internal and we're going to let it rest for just a few moments. We'll pour those juices over top and let it sit here. Then after a few moments, maybe 5 minutes or so, we're going to slice into it. And like I said, it ended up rising to about 153 to 155 internal. Personally, that's exactly what I wanted. Isn't this incredible? Like, look how perfectly cooked it is. Look at that little crust just on there. This was immaculate. Every single bite of this pork chop was seriously delicious. Oh man, oh man. Pork chops are such a simple meal that really everyone can cook. Does not take that much skill. You just throw it onto the heat, you rotate it regularly. And buddy, I am not exaggerating when I say you will have a meal fit for a king. Now, shout out Vessel Meats. This pork chop was actually the highest quality pork chop I've ever had in my life. I was blown away. I mean, I'm showing you the evidence right here. If you're located in Halifax,
I strongly suggest you drop by Vessel Meats and check out their unbelievable selection of pork, beef, poultry, and other items. It's seriously incredible. Their sausage selection is wild. They have so many cool sausages and stuff. Anyway, back to this pork chop. This was such a delicious meal. I enjoyed it with my wife. I gave her a few slices and then I finished off the rest of the pork chop. Plated it up with some delicious sweet potato and a wonderful creamy coleslaw. You can see right here. Like, no joke. This is what I love about barbecue, is a beautiful meal that you can just enjoy with your significant other. Holy cow. Really means a lot to me that you guys took a long time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. Would you enjoy this? Would you make it at home? Are you going to drop by Vessel Meats? Make sure you check me out on Instagram, also on TikTok. I'm always posting. Tag me in anything that you're cooking. I want to see it. Seriously, if you're out back on the barbecue, I want to know what you're up to. Thanks again for watching. Means a lot. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below. Take care and stay safe and have a wonderful day. And thanks again.
What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi, and today I'm smoking these delicious chicken wings on my charcoal grill using rum-soaked Applewood in a hot honey glaze. This one's going to be complex and absolutely delicious, so come on along for the ride. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and seriously, comment below if you've ever had chicken wings this delicious. Let's talk through the entire recipe. Starting off, like I said at the very beginning, I soaked the Applewood in rum. So I'm using Boat's Keg Distilling Hidden Barrel rum. And basically, I just vacuum sealed some of the Applewood that I have, some little chunks in this bag with some of that rum. And I left it for about 72 hours. And that was the result right there. So let's go ahead, set those aside, and prepare these chicken wings. Today, I'm going to use hot honey dry rub from Cuso Cuts. They make all kinds of spices and seasonings. If you care, go check them out. I enjoy this seasoning a lot, especially when I use hot honey with it afterwards. So I dry off my chicken wings in this tinfoil sheet pan, and then I liberally season them with that hot honey dry rub. Now, if you're not new to my channel, this is called wang jangling your chicken wings. Seriously, we want to make sure we move that meat around and get that dry rub over all the different parts. That's super important. And at the very end, it should look seasoned like this, all over the skin, basically all over every nook and cranny. That's exactly what you want to see. Next, we're going to go out to the Napoleon charcoal grill and use Kingsford briquettes. Holy cow, these little charcoal briquettes are perfect. If you haven't used Kingsford before and you're using a charcoal grill, I strongly suggest you try it out. Now, here's how we're going to set the grill up. As you see there, we have the little like circular cyclone attachment right in the center. We're going to pour all our charcoal directly in there, along with those chunks of Applewood that we soaked in that Boat's Keg Hidden Barrel rum. Holy cow, this is where so much smoky, delicious flavor is going to be imparted on these chicken wings. Now, fruit woods go perfectly with chicken, and I really think Applewood goes incredibly. And the kind of thought process I had here was kind of like, look, I don't have access to rum barrels to try and burn here, but it's kind of the equivalent of like soaking some wood in rum is kind of the same thing. Now, let's be very clear here. The rum barrels would be much different. They would be soaked for far longer and have a much more distinct taste to them, but it doesn't matter. This still worked, and you can totally taste that delicious rum Applewood flavor on these chicken wings. I was actually quite shocked and impressed. It was pretty cool, pretty hip and with it, as they say. Anyway, check this out. We're seriously cooking these through. You know me, I'm always bringing my chicken up past 165 internal. That's extremely important. And make sure you cook it properly. Then we're going to pull it off the grill once it's ready. We're going to douse it in some stinging hot honey by the Halifax Honey Company. Look, if you're not new to my channel, I know I've said that a few times this video, but I love this stuff. Hot honey is delicious. They use all Nova Scotian ingredients for this.
local honey, local chilies. Oh, it's just delicious, man. I love everything about Halifax honey. If you haven't ever tried any of their products out, I strongly recommend you do. As you can see here, I'm liberally coating these chicken wings, fully glazing them in that hot honey and making sure that I wang jangle it around and let it just creep over top of everything. Look at that glaze on there. Oh, buddy, yeah, that looks delicious. Scrumdiddlyumptious, as some might say. Holy cow. I was really happy with this. You know, I wasn't sure what to expect with these chicken wings, but by golly, they ended up being so flavorful and delicious. I'm definitely going to rum-soak some wood again in the future. It was unique and definitely a cool way to add extra flavor into my cook. Like, I love layering flavors, right? And that's exactly what this is. So here's how I plated it up with some homemade garlic bread, some sweet potatoes, and a nice coleslaw, and obviously a delicious glass of Boat's Keg Hidden Barrel rum. Holy cow, this stuff was fantastic. I loved this little dinner. Super Nova Scotian, everything about it. That's exactly what I want, right? Atlantic Canada for life. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Take care, stay safe, and have a great day.
What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And today I'm cooking some delicious ribs, smoked low and slow on my offset smoker. I'm going to walk you through the entire recipe. Make sure you like and subscribe. Join my community of home cooks. Make sure you comment below. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. All right, let's do this. These ribs came from my local butcher, Vessel Meats. You can see right here, they're already prepped and ready to go. St. Louis cut. The silver skin has been removed on the bottom. It's ready for seasoning. So I'm using Maritime Madness Unreal Pepper Rub. I really enjoy this rub on pork, and I thought this would hit perfectly. So I fully covered both the top and bottom. I don't really show it here, but I already seasoned the bottom of these ribs prior to the top. You know, you should always do the bottom because you want your presentation side to look nice. And by seasoning it last, that's how you do that. But we're going to fully coat these. Again, it's a dry rub, so make sure you pet it in. Don't rub it in. That's always really important. Then I like to throw it right onto the offset smoker. And personally, I don't believe in bad smoke. Honestly, you can have bad smoke if things are like really, really smoldering. But when you have thick smoke like this and the fire's just getting going, I think that adds remarkable flavor. You can see here my logs are just getting going. I do have a fire in there though. It's not just a smolder down at the bottom. But yeah, this is how I like to get my ribs started, to get that extra smoky flavor added. And as the fire really gets going, that smoke kind of just turns to regular blue smoke. And it just rolls low and slow through there. So today I'm using my regular method that I always do. It's 4 hours directly on the grill grates, no protection, no cover. And I just let that smoke roll over. Today I'm using Applewood smoke. Then at the 4th hour, I'm going to go ahead and wrap these up in some tin foil with barbecue sauce and butter, but we'll get to that in a second. What's important here is just patience. Running this low and slow between like 250 and 275. You don't really want to go above 300. Once you're hitting that, the smoke doesn't really get on there the best. So today I'm using Super Sauce by Maritime Madness. This is an extraordinarily versatile barbecue sauce, and I knew it would just be perfect on these ribs. So put it on there with a couple knobs of butter, and you can see I kind of like, just spritzed it over the bottom there, then wrapped it in 2 layers of tin foil. Now, I don't really show it here, but I put it wrapped on the smoker for 1 hour. So after 4 hours, I'm wrapping it. Then I put it on the smoker for an hour. Then the 5th hour, I unwrap it just like this so that that smoke gets exposed to that set of ribs and just really helps tack on that delicious sauce. This is what it should look like when you pull it off. And if you have any just sauce or butter left in that tin foil, well, you can let it kind of like drizzle on top. That's real important. So after I drizzled it on, let it sat there, just for a few minutes, it kind of like spread over everything. It was absolutely delicious, cut into it. And that's what we're looking at, guys. Just delicious smoked ribs. You can see that smoke ring on there, that delicious glaze, that bark built. It's just spectacular. Oh, buddy, here's another example of one. Just a great smoke ring, that tacked on sauce. bud, this is delicious, and I'm all here for it. That Maritime Madness sauce and seasoning was the perfect combo. Now, I plated this up like a madman. I had 2 double baked potatoes, some corn, and then like a rack and a half of ribs piled up. I was loving life. This was delicious. So look, if you enjoyed this recipe and want to try it yourself, make sure you follow me on social medias like Instagram and TikTok, and you tag me because I'd love to see how this turned out. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm always dropping new barbecue recipes, tips, and tricks. So hit those buttons ASAP if you haven't done it already. Take care. Applewood smoked beer cheese dip. Holy cow, on my offset smoker. This was a delicious recipe, a serious must try this barbecue season. I'm so pumped I tried it out too. Look how delicious that looks. Oh my gosh. Seriously, let's talk about it. My name's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Make sure you like and subscribe. Come on along while I explain this recipe. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to start by throwing in some smoked tri-tip that I had as leftovers. We'll just start there. Then, basically a full block of cheddar cheese, some diced up cherry tomatoes, garlic, some red onion as well. We're going to go in with a full block of cream cheese. Then, we're going to go in with a can of corn. Pretty straightforward. Make sure you just drain out that can of corn before you throw it in. Next, grab whatever barbecue spice you want. Today, I'm using Barbequist Spice by the Royal Nova Company. They're based out of New Brunswick, Quispamsis specifically. Then we're going to throw a dollop of mustard. If you have fine grain mustard, that's perfect. And today, I'm using Canadian maple. This is by Atlantic Mustard Mill based out of Prince Edward Island here in Atlantic Canada as well. And oh my goodness, just look at that. Now let's throw in a dollop. To be completely open with you, I wish I had thrown in a little bit more, but yeah, 1 dollop to start, and then you're going to get a nice beer. I'm using Coldstream Clear Nova Scotia light beer. Just to round this out, we want to include as many of the Atlantic Canadian provinces as possible. So you throw in about a third to maybe a half a can of beer. That's about it. And then next, I'm going to go to the R&R custom built 180 gallon offset smoker I got. I'm going to fire this thing up with Applewood today. We're going to throw this dip right on there. Nothing to confuse here. We're going to just run it low and slow around 250, 275, just nice and easy. We're going to send it forward. Just make sure it's running smoothly. I mean, just look at that R&R custom built smoker. Holy cow. That thing is gorgeous, but man, oh man, all you have to do here is just check this dip kind of regularly. There's really not too much to it. After about 30 minutes at about 250, things start melting down. So all you got to do is just make sure you're maintaining temperatures. As you can see here, I'm throwing a little bit more wood on that fire. I got this wood from a local apple orchard as well, Noggins, here in Nova Scotia. They're a delicious apple orchard. They make, well, I guess grow unbelievable apples. You can even go, they got like a corn maze, lots of fun stuff for the family. So you should definitely go check them out as well. You can also find their stuff at local farmers markets. But yeah, check this out. Running low and slow, stuff starting to melt. So just grab yourself like a wooden spoon or something like that and give it a good mix. And as you mix it together, we're just going to let it keep going low and slow around 250, 275. There's nothing confusing here. We're just running it low and slow. Make sure you got that smoke going cleanly through there. Continue to monitor the fire and make sure you don't need to throw more wood on. And if you do, just throw some on. It's just that simple. There's nothing wrong with hanging out by the offset smoker. You can enjoy yourself, right? I mean, hey, it's a beer cheese dip. You can crack another beer or, finish off the beer you already opened for the dip. So relaxing out here barbecuing, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get back to this recipe. So I pull it off after about an hour or so. It melted down beautifully. So I threw on some green onion chives that I have and growing in my backyard, in my garden. Thought that would just freshen this up a little bit extra. And then I needed to make sure I used unbelievable corn chips. I love Casa Bonita Cantina style corn chips. They're tortilla style corn chips, and they are just delicious. I really enjoy these. They're definitely my favorite for like nacho chips. I like them more than like a Doritos or like a Tostitos, anything like that. I don't know what it is. It's just the corn chip, the tortilla corn chip style is just, oh, it hits home for me. I don't know. It's something I only recently found out about, and it's seriously a 10 out of 10. But, anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate this. Make sure you like and subscribe if you think this dip would be delicious. If you would try it yourself, if you have a smoker, make sure you tag me in any photos you post to social media. By the way, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And don't forget, like and subscribe. Take care and stay safe. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and today I made beef pinwheels out of a Merlot steak. I got it at my local butcher, Vessel Meats, located in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. They always have such cool, unique cuts of meat, and this Merlot steak was no exception. It's so cool. It's something you rarely find. You'll never find one of these in a supermarket unless you specifically ask for it. But seriously, it's a perfect example of why going to your local butcher is the right idea. So let's do this. I'm going to lay it out flat, and I'm going to go ahead and toss down a couple pieces of provolone cheese. Just 3 here, just enough to kind of cover that area, get it laid out. All right, I'm actually going to rotate this around. Then I got some sauteed vegetables here, some bell pepper red, and just some white onion. Nothing too crazy. I sauteed them down just a little bit because they're going to continue to cook. And then I brought some of those old high school skills out, and I rolled this up. When I did this at first, I didn't really roll it tight enough. That's a mistake looking back. I'm glad I learned so easily with this cook. Now, I had these skewers here, so I decided to throw them through just kind of as like a guide for my knife. My idea was I'm going to slice in between each of these. And, while you're doing that, remember there are vegetables and the provolone in there. So make sure your knife's going to get through all of it. That's real important. Now, what ended up happening here was I wasn't happy with how it was laid out, 1 skewer each. As well, I didn't think the pinwheels were actually tight enough. I really should have rolled it a little bit tighter. Typical kind of issue with this thing. Anyway, I threw them both onto skewers like this, and I rolled them up a little bit tighter. It worked out perfect. Then I grabbed Cow Cover by Cosmos Q. I really enjoyed this dry rub on beef. Look at that. It looks absolutely glorious. Holy cow. Look at all those spices, bud. Let's go get this seasoned up. Now, like everything else, we want to make sure we get all the sides, all the nooks, all the crannies. That's super, super important here. Be liberal, pat it in. Don't rub it in. I know it is a dry rub. I always repeat this, but make sure you're just patting it in. Don't rub it in. And then we got everything ready for the grill. Now, today I'm using my Napoleon charcoal grill, and I have all the charcoal right in the center. And I'm using like a cyclone attachment. That's what it's called, I believe, or like a tornado attachment. What it does is it holds all the charcoal almost like in a funnel right there in the middle. And it's ripping hot. You can see I got those grill marks forming, and we're just going to do some direct heat cooking to get a little bit of grill marks. Then we're going to move it onto indirect heat. Now, this is steak. It is not that intense. You just want to bring it up to rare, or medium, or even well done if that's what you're all about. Now, me personally, I like actually keeping it close to rare. That's how I like eating my steaks. But I have no issue with anyone eating up to well done. It's what you want, right? At the end of the day, you're cooking your food, so make sure you're enjoying it. That's what's really important here. I don't care if someone's going to tell me, oh, it needs to be medium, oh, it needs to be rare, oh, it needs to be well done, or whatever. No, it's whatever the person that's going to eat it wants it to be. That's what matters. It matters that it tastes good for the person eating it. Anyway, like I said, I like mine towards rare. So once this hit 125 internal, I decided to pull it off to let it rest. And it probably came up to about 129, 130 in total. I actually wish it came up a little bit more, closer to 135. But I'm not too concerned about it. It was absolutely delicious and scrumptious. So seriously, check this out. On the indirect heat around the edge of my Napoleon charcoal grill is how I ended up finishing it off. And this is what I pulled off after the rest. Man, oh man, it was so delicious, juicy, tender. Oh, buddy, rich and flavorful. So delicious. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating when I say I was really happy I tried a Merlot steak. It was just so unique. It's something you would never find in a regular supermarket. I highly suggest you go to a local butcher and ask them if they can get you this cut of meat. It's seriously simple. So cool, too. You can but this would be awesome actually to like high heat sear after marinating it for a day or something and chopping it up and making some delicious tacos or something like that. I don't know. There's so many ideas running through my head with it. I want to do more pinwheels as well. They were scrumptious. You can see here I played them up with some mashed potatoes. I mean, you know me, typical saucy, serious East Coast dinner. Anyway, oh, bud. I'm not exaggerating. I loved everything about this meal. It was super delicious, super worth it. Highly suggest you try it. If you do, tag me on socials. I'm on TikTok and Instagram as well. So make sure you go follow me. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Do you think this looks good? Take care.
Man, I got a new offset smoker and I finally got around to my first cook on it. I want to walk you through the entire thing. I hope you stick around and enjoy. This was an absolute blast. I did some ribs and some tri-tip, and man, oh man, was it ever delicious. What's up, what's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I'm firing up my R&R custom-built 180-gallon offset smoker. Holy cow, man, this is a long time coming. When I first started this channel, I jokingly said to my buddy, man, one day I'm going to get a big offset smoker. And I was mainly just joking around because I never in my life thought this would be real. But buddy, it is. Check this out. Look at how small 2 racks of ribs and a tri-tip is on this thing. Serious space in here for some barbecue bliss. I've already done a couple cooks now. I'm just finally getting my first video out of me cooking though. And I'm telling you, this grill is outstanding. This offset is amazing. Holy cow. Now, I'll be frank, it does take a lot more fuel. About 4 times the amount of wood than I normally use. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have no issue with that because the taste is incredible. Holy, these racks of ribs, as well as this tri-tip, smoked low and slow. I don't know, man. I think I was around like 225, 250. Oh, dude, there it is. It's right between 225 and 250. Not to mention R&R smokers based out of Quispam, Sis, New Brunswick. If you are interested, there's a quick little screen that you can grab if you want their phone number or any additional information. Holy cow. So if you're wondering, I went low and slow on these ribs, 6 hours. After 4 hours, I wrapped them in this tin foil with butter and a little more seasoning. Holy. And then I let them just go inside the tin foil for about an hour, 15 extra. Then I opened them up. And my goodness, this is what I was left with. Holy cow, I love ribs. Ribs are like my favorite part of barbecue, I think. And seriously, this was perfection. Now, I used Perpetual pork seasoning by Rolling Bones Barbecue. That guy is just a straight G. I love his content. And he's one of the guys that seriously inspired me to try and achieve an offset smoker. And man, oh man, am I ever thrilled. I mean, just look at these. Look at that smoke ring. It's almost not even a ring. It almost passes through the entire rib. Seasoned to perfection. Look at that bark. This was seriously delicious. These ribs were absolutely outstanding. Here's another one, man, where that smoke ring, it goes through so much of the rib. It's actually insane. I'm not exaggerating, guys. Check that out. I'm thrilled with my new barbecue, and this first cook on it turned out absolutely magnificent. This is going to be a serious upgrade for my channel, you know. Who knows what I'm going to be cooking next? I can't wait to get a brisket on this bad boy. Oh, buddy, but look at these ribs just glistening in that sauce. I poured it back over, just, oh, holy cow. Look at that. Just, oh, it's bendable. That's what you want. You want your ribs to just, you don't want them to fall apart, but you want it so that when you actually take the bite off the bone, it just comes right off. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what happened here. No lie. You can see I dropped one there a second ago. But seriously, look at this rib. Look at that smoke ring. I can't believe how insane that is. It literally passed through the entire rib. You know, I plated these up with some simple sour cream and onion chips and a delicious side garden salad. Man, ribs are such a simple meal to just really enjoy. But let's not forget about that delicious tri-tip as well. So check it out. I used Perpetual beef seasoning by Rolling Bones Barbecue, right? This was my first cook on my offset smoker, so I knew I wanted to just pay tribute to the guy that I'm always learning from. I seriously thought this was too cool. Man, oh man. I'm hype about this. This turned out perfect. Now look at this bark on here. The idea here is I'd smoked it low and slow just like a brisket because I don't have time to smoke an entire brisket right now. So by doing this, it's nowhere near as delicious as a brisket, but it's about 85% of the way there. And this was no lie, absolutely banging. Look at that smoke ring, just friggin' fantastic. Oh, nice and juicy, tender and delicious, easy to just bite into. Hell yeah, this was amazing. Oh, I'm super stoked about my new barbecue, guys. Really, really pumped. I hope you guys are too. And I hope you're, liked and subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you watching all my videos. It means a lot to me. I'm always out here cooking. I've upgraded my barbecue. I'm going to be grilling up a storm this summer. You just wait and see, bud. So make sure you like and subscribe. Join my community of home cooks. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always posting all over. Seriously delicious stuff, seriously delicious food, just having a blast out here. Thanks again for watching. It means a lot. Take care, stay safe, have a great day.
Steak, potatoes, and broccoli salad, a delicious homemade meal that's so easy to throw together. Let's talk through the entire thing, specifically the steak though. Man, oh man, look at that, cooked perfect medium rare. I'm thrilled with this. Look at those grill marks too. Starting off, I picked up these delicious little steak rounds from my local grocery store, Sobeys. I decided that I wanted to cook up some steak. These were pretty cheap. They're not the biggest pieces, but if I eat a couple of them, then it will do the trick. That was my thought, right? I know you guys are going through the same thing I'm going through. Meat's expensive right now. But if you use a good seasoning, like Newfoundland Seasonings steak and burger seasoning, then it can really help elevate your dinners. So that's the one I'm using today. I'm going to fully coat these little steak rounds, and I want to make sure I get all sides fully coated. You can see here I'm picking up those steaks and kind of like dragging them through the extra seasoning that might have fallen down there. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, just got that fully covered, nothing too intense here. Just want to make sure we get it on all sides. Now, it depends on what you're using as your seasoning, but I'm using a nice and salty seasoning here. You can see that. Just look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous covered on that steak round? Yeah, I know you're excited about it too. So let's go ahead. Let's fire up the grill. Today I'm using my Napoleon Phantom Prestige 500 RSIB gas grill. And I just made sure to heat it up beforehand to make sure those grill grates were nice and hot. I'm going to try and get some grill marks on these little steak rounds. Nothing too crazy, but it is important that you do preheat your barbecue. And as you can see there, I'm running this at around 500 degrees, 450, something like that. But yeah, this is going to be absolutely beautiful and delicious. So as I'm cooking it, I'm flipping it regularly, just rotating it as well. That's going to get us those crosshatch marks. So they kind of like cross over top of each other, the crisscross part. The crisscross pattern. My tongue tied there. Anyway, check that out. Don't those steaks look just absolutely delicious and just friggin' fantastic? But here's the thing. They're not done cooking. When you cook steak, we want to aim for 125 for rare, 135 for medium rare, 145 for medium, and just above 150 for well done. Today, I'm aiming for like a rare, medium rare. I'm probably going to get these up to 130, maybe closer to 135 before I pull them off. That's why I had them up there on that warming rack. It doesn't have them directly on the heat, but they are still above the heat source. So they are still heating up and coming up to that temperature perfectly. And as you can see here, well, I'm just letting them rest. And basically I separated them because one of them is my wife's and two of them are mine. And this is going to be absolutely scrumptious. Let's take a little bit of a closer look here. You can see that seasoning on there. Holy, it looks absolutely fantastic. Those grill marks. So once we sliced in,
I got exactly what I was hoping for, a delicious medium rare steak, bud. This was absolutely fantastic. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like medium rare steak, rare, medium? Like, how do you like your steak done? Everyone's different. It's all right. If you like well done steak, I have no issue with that, as long as you're eating the entire thing. That's what matters to me. Holy cow, though. This ended up being so delicious. Now, what I did was I did up some delicious garlic mashed potatoes along with a homemade broccoli salad. If you're interested in the broccoli salad, I do have a full recipe video on how to make that as well. So let's go take a closer look at the final dish. Holy cow, bud. Oh, there it is. This was just absolutely delicious and fantastic. Every bite was absolutely scrumptious. All those mashed potatoes just filled up my belly. That broccoli salad was just absolutely tantalizing. And the steak, well, seriously cooked to perfection. I got no complaints about that one, bud. I was really happy with the results here in every capacity. So make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Instagram and TikTok. Tag me if you're trying any of these recipes. And thanks again. Take care and stay safe. Smoked and then finished off on a griddle hot plate barbecue chicken. Holy cow. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And today I'm grilling some smoked chicken. I'll walk you through the entire process. Then I'll show you how I made this delicious salad. Holy cow. It was so amazing with a candied blueberry hot sauce as the dressing. It was just a 10 out of 10 along with these baked potatoes. Let me show you the entire thing. Starting off, I took 2 chickens and just simply broke them down, then covered them with garden herb seasoning. Now, you know me, I got it on the top and bottom, underneath the skin as well. I seriously seasoned these to perfection. Then I fired up my R&R offset smoker. This thing's 180 gallons of custom built beauty. And man, oh man, do I ever have enough space to cook 2 chickens. I could probably do like 15 or 20 chickens, honestly. But anyway, these 2 chickens done up. You can see me rolling smoke over there through the little fire chamber. Oh, buddy, this was absolutely smelling fantastic. Today I'm using Applewood. Now you can see here, I have just hunks of Applewood in there, and you can see they're kind of interesting looking logs. That's because it's a recent tree that fell down at a local apple orchard. And I thought to myself, man, I should ask them if I could buy this. And they actually sold it to me for like $80. I was pumped. Anyway, I took some baked potatoes and just simply wrapped them in tinfoil, or I should say regular potatoes. And then I wrapped them in tinfoil and threw them in the fire chamber along with the fire, just as if it was a regular oven. And that's just going to cook alongside this as it just smokes that chicken. And it's going to be perfect. I can just let it cook away, and that's all I have to do for those baked potatoes. Now back to the chicken. We're going to cook it for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. What's really important here is that we bring it up past 165 internal. That's extremely important. Now, when you're smoking chicken, it's usually important to also get the chicken's skin crispy. And you can do that by putting it closer to the firebox. But today I'm actually using a griddle pan by the Rock Cookware. They're a Canadian company. I believe they're based out of Quebec, and they make awesome griddle pans. Now, I got this in a contest, and I'm pretty psyched about it. I mean, just look, it fits perfectly right into my firebox, and there's even room for those baked potatoes to sit underneath so that radiating heat just keeps cooking them away. Now, as you just listen in there, oh yeah, you can just hear it. That chicken cooking away. It sounds magnificent. That skin is getting a little more crispy. Oh, buddy, that's exactly what we want. Now, it's important to move the chicken down here once you're at about 165. You do want to make sure you at least hit that point. But with barbecue chicken, it's so delicious when you bring it to like 180. That's what I prefer. Oh, man, it's just fantastic. So I pulled that off. You can see that delicious seasoning really is burnt in there. Actually, burnt's the wrong word. More cooked in there. And it just looks fantastic. Oh, buddy, this is just amazing. So let me slice into this, pull that up. Yep, we knew it. Look at that juicy chicken. Fantastic. fantastic. That's everything I wanted. You can see that smoky pinkness to the chicken. That's exactly what I want. See, when I tear in there, it's colored perfectly. There's a little bit of pink on the outside, but the outside clearly cooks faster and more than the inside. That's from the smoke, if you're wondering and you see any of that. But seriously, doesn't this look absolutely delicious and juicy? So I had this candied blueberry hot sauce from Maritime Madness. And when I tried it on here, I was like, okay, this would be perfect in a salad. So I took basically some greens, some onion, some cherry tomato, along with that candied blueberry fire hot sauce. It's delicious from Maritime Madness. Man, oh man, I just drizzled it all over top and then just kind of wang jangled everything together, mixed it all up and, tossed my salad, if you will. Then anyway, once that was all done with, I pulled those baked potatoes out of the firebox and look at this. They were so delicious. So I hit them with that garden herb seasoning. And man, oh man, with just a little bit of extra butter in there to make it nice and creamy, it was so perfect. Holy guacamole. Talk about delicious. That's what I'm saying, man. Like I showed you earlier, plated up to perfection. That garden herb seasoning was just seriously unbelievable, along with that blueberry candied hot sauce, or should I say candied blueberry, both by Maritime Madness. Just, oh, this was such a scrumptious meal. So make sure you like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments below if you like this. Thanks again for watching. It really means a lot. Take care and stay safe.
What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Look at that delicious mahogany color on these ribs. Today, we're going to be talking about low and slow ribs. They're absolutely delicious. Fall off the bone. We're going to cook these through thoroughly, nice and well done. The way most people enjoy their ribs when they say, oh, I want fall off the bone ribs. So let's get started. Starting off, I sourced these beautiful side ribs from Vessel Meats in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Look at that side profile. Don't these look incredible? These are going to be fun to cook. Pretty excited. So I'm going to hit them with a Spice Affair and Island Girl Foods barbecue seasoning. This dry rub is fantastic. Every time I look at it, I think of a tropical vacation on a beach. I just love that like sandy color. Holy cow, I just love this. So let's go ahead and fully coat these ribs. I get it all on the top, all on the bottom, and the sides. We generously season these, no lie. Next, I'm firing up my Pit Boss pellet smoker. This thing runs pretty smoothly, and it's easy for me to make sure I get these to the right temperature on it. I run it at 250 degrees, and I use a blend of oak, hickory, and maple pellets for this. It's absolutely delicious. So all I'm doing is I'm setting these racks of ribs right on the smoker. Nothing special. I'm just letting that smoke run over top. And this is going to be about the first 3.5 to 4 hours of our cook. Okay? That's real important here. Once we hit about the 3.5, 4 hour mark though, we're going to wrap these ribs in tin foil upside down with a little bit of butter, a little bit more of that dry rub, and I'm adding a maple habanero barbecue sauce in there. I'll show that very shortly. But for now, what's really important here is just monitoring these ribs and making sure you're building that beautiful mahogany bark on the top. It will just kind of form over, the first 4 hours, but you want to make sure it solidifies before you wrap it in tinfoil. So like I said, we put butter, some maple habanero barbecue sauce, and a little more seasoning in there, flip them upside down and fully wrap them for 1 full hour. Once that hour finished, I unwrap them and I just set them on the pellet smoker like this and let them just, get a little more sauce tacked on there. I'm just layering on more and more of the barbecue sauce in really, really thin layers. And I'm letting that smoke just kind of like tack it on there more and more. You can really see that mahogany color forming here. It almost looks burnt, but it's not. That's not burning.
That's not char. That's like a mahogany bark that we've built with the dry rub, and it's going to be absolutely delectable. So let's go ahead and check these out after 6 hours. Holy, don't those look delectable? Look at that mahogany bark. They are well done. I'll make sure that's clear here and stated. These are well done ribs. But that's the point of this recipe. Ribs that fall off the bone are well done. People don't always know that. You're totally overcooking the ribs. If a rib has fall off the bone meat, it's definitely been cooked for over 6 hours. Holy though. Look at that mahogany bark. I'm still blown away by this. I thought it formed on there perfectly. Holy cow. Anyway, these were so delectable, so delicious. So if you want fall off the bone ribs, this is all you have to do. It's all about that time in the tin foil and letting them just braise in some butter and really loosen up those meat juices. Holy cow. Anyway, oh, I loved these ribs. Plated them up with some delicious mashed potatoes. Nothing complicated. I'm a basic bitch like that. So make sure you come along for the ride. Like and subscribe. Check out all my recipe videos. I'm constantly dropping them, trying to help you guys become better on your barbecues at home. So go ahead, smash those buttons, like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care and stay safe. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Today I'm throwing together some delicious quesadillas. These are so simple and easy to make at home. I highly recommend you actually try this recipe out with any chicken leftovers you had. But the other day I smoked some amazing chickens on my offset smoker. I finished them off on this griddle pan directly in the firebox. Oh, buddy, it was so delicious. And I had a bunch of leftovers because I'm not that crazy. I'm not eating 2 chickens at once. But anyway, I decided to dice up some jalapenos, cherry tomatoes, and some white onion. And then shredded up some of that chicken there. Holy, doesn't it look great? Next, I grabbed some blue corn flour tortillas by Casa Bonita and some white cheese and jalapeno salsa queso dip. Oh, buddy. Now, it's off camera here, but I took some of that queso dip and I just put it into a little saucepan and heated it up on low. That way it got all ooey gooey and delicious, nice and runny. And we're going to come back to that in a second. Now, starting off, I'm just heating up these tortillas. I started it off on one side, and then after about 20 to 30 seconds, I gave it a quick flip. Then I went on with some of the chicken that I had there from before. Then a little bit of onion, those cherry tomatoes, then a couple of jalapenos. Nothing too crazy, just a nice little kick inside of there, right? We already got some jalapeno salsa on the go inside this queso. So there's already going to be a little bit of spice. Now we're drizzling on a bunch of that queso. Nothing too crazy. Go in, I don't know, 2 or 3 little drizzles there. Then we're going to take our spatula, just kind of fold it over, give it a good press, then move it into the center where the heat is. And yeah, you're just going to give that a flip partway through. You know, a little bit of char is not the end of the world. I might have gone overboard there, but seriously, it's still delicious and easy. You know, this is so simple, and I highly recommend you do this too, because this is it. That's the entire recipe. You now have a couple tortillas ready to go. Just that simple. Depending on the size of your frying pan, you can do more than one. Holy cow. I don't have that big of a frying pan. Maybe one day. But for now, let's just do up a couple of these and we'll have a little plate. But no lie, this is like the easiest recipe I think I've ever posted. It's like 5 ingredients. Actually 6 because of the salsa. Or sorry, the queso. But yeah, like just go ahead and try cooking this at home. And if you do, please tag me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on social media, bud. So make sure you give me a follow on there as well. And don't forget, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm always dropping these simple recipes. So straightforward. Man, oh man, I'm always trying to help you guys become better home cooks just like myself. I'm not professionally trained here, guys. I'm learning as I go. So come on along for the ride. It's an absolute blast over here on my YouTube channel. Now back to these little quesadillas. Oh, buddy, look at that. Ooey gooey queso running throughout that smoked chicken, those veggies on there. Oh, that blue corn flour tortilla just looks delectable. Buddy, oh buddy, I can't wait to eat this. Thanks for watching. What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and today I wanted to talk to you about using a whole animal butcher and why it's one of the best ways to get high quality meat while supporting sustainable and ethical food systems. Here's why. Better quality meat
A whole animal butcher typically works with small farms that raise animals humanely. Pasture raised, grass fed, or free range. This often results in more flavorful, better marbled, and healthier meat, free from hormones and unnecessary antibiotics. Nose to tail ethos. These butchers respect the animal by using every part, not just popular cuts like ribeyes or pork chops. This means you can access less common, often more affordable cuts like hanger steak, bavette, pork jowl, or beef shank, all delicious if cooked properly. Sustainability. Buying from a whole animal butcher reduces waste, supports local food systems, and keeps more of the profit with farmers and butchers instead of the big meat processors. It's a more conscious and environmentally conscious way to consume meat. Personal service and custom cuts. Whole animal butchers are incredibly knowledgeable. They can cut meat exactly how you want, share cooking advice, often recommend unique cuts for a specific recipe for your next barbecue or slow smoke. It's a far cry from grabbing plastic wrap meat off the grocery store shelf. Better value over time. While individual cuts might seem pricier up front, you're often getting more meat for your dollar with options like bones for stock, fat for rendering, or offcuts for stew. Plus, buying in bulk, like half a pig or a quarter cow, can be surprisingly economical. So make sure you go check out your local butcher. Whole animal butchers really help out the entire environment of your local food ecosystem. So I strongly suggest you go check out the amazing cuts that they have. I mean, I've been showing them off here. We got beef ribs, pork ribs, we got steak cuts, we got pork chops, all beef hot dogs. Look at this bavette steak. Holy cow. This was amazing. I made pinwheels out of this. Like, oh, just so many options at your local butcher. So do yourself a favor this weekend. Go to your local farmer's market, go to a butcher. You won't regret it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more barbecue videos. What's up? What's up? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I seasoned and cleaned up my new offset smoker. I want to show you everything. Holy cow. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's talk about it. So starting off, this offset smoker wasn't brand new when I got it. It had been sitting for a bit. So I took a wire brush on a drill and grinded off all the rust. Then I covered it in some Pam cooking spray. Then I took a blowtorch to the outside of it, just like this, as you can see, all the flat spots, all the parts of the barbecue that really won't get hit with high intensity heat from the inside. Then I lit a fire. As you can see, I fired up my charcoal chimney and got this thing blazing hot. Now, it started off a little bit colder. I did it about a cold smoke to begin, so about 200 degrees, and I gradually increased it until it hit 500 degrees. And this is the output, a beautifully seasoned, custom built 180-gallon offset smoker. So as you can see, it's a dual chamber offset smoker. And what that means is it has two doors opening to the cook chamber there. Now, this is where the fire and smoke comes through. All that heat from the firebox enters this cooking chamber, and this is where I get to lay out all my meat. Now I have 3 steel cooking grates in there. They're removable in case I want to clean it, and as well, as you can see on the far side of the grill, the chimney is centered. That's really important with an offset smoker. No exaggeration. It's super helpful in regulating the temperature. As you can see here, I have a Tell True thermometer in there. It's a seriously great thermometer and a great cooking device. Okay, so R&R smokers. These are the people that made this smoker, and if you're not familiar with them, you need to check them out ASAP. They're constantly building beautiful offset smokers, drum smokers, Santa Maria grills, open fire tables, the list goes on. They can custom build you basically anything. And just look at the craftsmanship on this offset smoker.
Holy cow. I'm so thrilled with how it came out with this seasoning. I thought I did a really good job here. As you can see, basically the entire thing is seasoned. The firebox still has a little bit of kind of like some marks, some nicks, some crannies on there that could be cleaned up. But that's simply because that is the firebox, where it reaches a higher temperature than the remainder of the offset smoker. Normally looks like this. So I'm actually quite happy with the result here. Holy though. I'm thrilled. This was one of those things that I was a bit nervous to do. It's my first time ever cleaning up a smoker like this. And truthfully, I'm really happy with the result. Now, some quick little things I wasn't expecting with this new offset smoker was the amount of wood I need to burn. Obviously, the bigger barbecue, the more wood I'm going to need to burn. But like in this case, it's like 3 to 4 times the amount, which does make sense. I mean, it is 3 to 4 times the size of my last barbecue. But either way, oh, buddy, it was one of those things I wasn't totally expecting. I guess I probably should have really thought it through a little bit more. But holy cow, doesn't this barbecue look absolutely insane? Oh man, I'm really happy with just owning this. I think this is going to be a seriously awesome upgrade for my channel in general. I think, over the course of the next year, you're going to see a lot of really cool, interesting cooks on this thing. As you can see here, I use that just to clean out my firebox. It's pretty easy and straightforward. It's just a little handle and scraper. You can see here, most of the welds on this are quite nice as well. I'm not really a welder, but they look very clean. So that's important to me. I don't want this thing to look janky, right? And as you can see here, here's the little grease release so that when I'm done cooking, I can just open this bad boy up and then, drain the grease out as needed. So enough yapping about this. Let's show you one last time R&R smokers, but let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. I want to show you what it can really do. This thing is serious. So I went ahead and cooked up some ribs and some tri-tip on it, and they came out absolutely unbelievable. You'll be able to see that here very shortly in my next video on my first cook with this barbecue, but holy cow. So I went ahead, fired up some oak wood, threw on a couple racks of ribs and that tri-tip I mentioned. Guys, just look at how much space I have. Holy cow. I'm so excited about this barbecue. It's going to be such a blast. Look at this. I have so much room to just grill out there. It's going to be just 10 out of 10 every time. Seriously. R&R Smokers, based out of Quispamsis, New Brunswick. They make fantastic barbecues. If you're not already familiar with them, make sure you check them out on social media, and myself as well. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and you see me here on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're still here watching. I'm constantly dropping videos on barbecues, barbecue recipes, tips and tricks, and just how to become a better home cook. Seriously, you're going to love it if you join my community of home cooks. We have a lot of fun around here with a lot of barbecue. This is your invitation. Slam that like button, slam that subscribe button. Comment below, have you ever used an offset smoker that looks this cool? Holy cow. Oh, just look at these ribs and that tri-tip smoked to perfection on this bad boy. It's all about knowing what you're doing, and this channel is one that will walk you through everything. So to all my followers, to all my subscribers, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Take care. Have a great day.
What's up, y'all? It's Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, and I'm here with Sylvain from V-Forge.
Hey guys.
He was kind enough to take time to show me the Odin, one super cool grill. Why don't you just start from the top, man? What inspired this?
It started when COVID strike in 2020.
Sure.
All the restaurants were closed. No access to steakhouse, and
I remember.
Yep, everybody remembers.
Yeah.
And the owner, Jean Després, he's based out of Rivière-du-Loup, Quebec. He decided to create a small portable grill to cook steaks and a bunch of stuff, and just for fun, basically. And at some point, inviting family and friends, people tasting the food out of it. They were like, "Man, you gotta push this. You gotta create bigger barbecues and barbecues that actually people wanna have in their backyard. And
I love
so it built up, and we created this Odin one, which is the big model from VForge, and we have a bunch of accessories to fit in the grill, so you can actually transform your regular charcoal grill, because this is a charcoal grill, guys. You can put,
Yeah, let me just take a moment here, guys, and show you this grill. So it's the Odin by VForge, and check this out. We have 2 coal beds available, so you can have 2 different temperatures going on at the same time. Like Sylvain mentioned, he has multiple different accessories for vegetables to grill on there, pizza ovens, just a straight griddle. There's many different attachments that can go into this. So it's super slick and absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's called the Odin. Clearly there's that like Nordic, Quebecois spin to it, Viking, hell yeah. And it's just badass. You got just awesome logos all over the knives and handles, like serious work here, guys. VForge did some badass like technical stuff here to get this up and running. I'm super excited about this. So just off the top, you get it started through here. You're going to put your fire starter right into here, and it's going to go inside. We're going to have our vent available to control airflow. Then we have our coal bed, and that's just going to let us get up to 1,800 degrees. Seriously, this barbecue is badass. If you like charcoal grills, not that gas stuff, that stuff's a joke. Anyway, you like pizza ovens, griddles, gas grills, get out of here. This is what you want in your backyard by VForge, the Odin. Not to mention, they also have, correct me if I'm wrong, the Ragnar. It's a little bit smaller of a model, single bed.
half the size,
but still as badass. Beautiful craftsmanship, multiple attachments, and just awesome. So seriously, check out VForge on multiple social medias. You're on Instagram, Facebook, I would assume?
Yeah, vforge.ca, Instagram,
vforge.ca,
Facebook,
check it out.
YouTube. Go see our videos. We do a presentation.
Okay, perfect.
Also videos how to start it, how to clean it.
I love that. That's fantastic.
It's really a really cool product, and we're growing, decently since the last year.
It's so awesome to see all these Canadian barbecue companies just flourishing. So thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Excited to see this, dude. Super badass. Check out VForge today. Saucy Rossi out. And remember, barbecue for life. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. And guys, I got a special guest today, Janice from Smell-O-Q, 4-time National BBQ Champion. I am literally honored right now. I do not have the same level of barbecue skills to be talking to you. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.
My pleasure.
How's your day going?
It's great.
So you're from out west. You're here in Atlantic, Canada. Was the travel here okay?
It was great. I flew in. I'm borrowing all my gear. We're in
Nothing wrong with that.
tent. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. We love sharing out here. Have you had any good food since you've been out here?
I had an excellent lobster roll.
Ooh.
I went out to Peggy's Cove the other morning.
Cool.
It was beautiful. It rained right before I arrived, and
Perfect.
it rained after I left.
Typical.
So,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
No, that's literally every day. That's Peggy's Cove. Yeah, no, you got like the definition of Peggy's Cove. I love that. That's awesome. I'm sure you wanted the view. I'm sorry that didn't happen, but yeah.
Oh, it did happen.
Oh, okay.
Before and after, but it was great while I was there.
Perfect. Well, let's chit chat barbecue. We're here at a competition today. You're a 4-time national champion. What started your love for barbecue?
I just like to eat. It's that simple. Yeah.
That's reasonable.
My husband and I went on a barbecue trip to Texas many years ago.
I'm so jealous of you. So jealous.
Ate ourselves silly, and I was like, well, that sucked, because now we can't have great barbecue again.
Okay.
So we bought a pit from Texas, hauled it up. Well, we didn't haul it. A trucker hauled it, brought it to us.
Awesome.
And we didn't know how to use our pit.
Sure.
So
that's reasonable.
I say this is man logic. I don't know, but my husband said, if we enter a barbecue contest, we will learn to use the pit. It worked.
But yeah, 4 championships later. That's so awesome. Okay, cool. So what kind of pit is it?
It's a pitmaker vault, so it's a cabinet style where there's
Beautiful. Yeah.
firebox in the bottom. There's a false wall that the heat goes up, and then it comes back down onto the meat.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
that's gorgeous. So I personally run a 180-gallon offset smoker by R&R Smokers. It's based out of Quispamsis, New Brunswick.
Okay.
Make beautiful barbecues. Really enjoy them. Enjoy that's Canadian as well. But that's so sick that you have a pit from Texas. So jealous. That's awesome. Oh, man. I'm just imagining it. Black?
Gray.
Okay,
Gray.
Cool. I died for a red sled so I can call myself Santa around the holidays. That'd be so wouldn't that be awesome to have like a 3-chamber barbecue pit that you dress up as Santa, go do like an event for, I don't know, a local community
like
or
sit
something
on it for like your Christmas photo.
Oh,
right?
Okay. We got some ideas coming. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, not only to me but also to Smell-O-Q. I keep thinking Smell-O-Vision. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Cool. So what are you most excited about here at this competition? I know that you're cooking here, you're entering a couple things. What are you excited about?
I'm just excited to be here, quite honestly.
Love it. Love that.
This is my first time out to Atlanta, Canada. We're cooking 2 ancillaries today, so blueberry and maple, and then turkey is the other category.
Beautiful.
I taught a class here at Worth by Design, and I have an excuse to travel and taste other food.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a kitchen party tonight, so it's great.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Nova Scotian kitchen party, nothing better, bud. Oh, that's friggin' wicked. Well, I'm glad you came to Nova Scotia. I'm glad you're here blessing us with your barbecue expertise. No, for real, it's so awesome. Nova Scotia doesn't get many celebrities that come through here. We're kind of over on the corner. People usually stop at Montreal, Quebec City, but there's lots of stuff going on here. Great barbecue companies, great barbecue competitions, just great people in general. So just to have you come and join the community means a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much, Janice. I appreciate you taking just a few minutes to chit chat with me. Guys, make sure you guys follow Janice on social media. Smell-O-Q. She's kicking butt, 4-time national champion. Thanks again, Janice. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day. And remember, everyone, barbecue for life. What's up, guys? It's your main man, Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue, here with a quick interview with Rob from Prairie Smoke and Spices. He has not only a championship barbecue team, but a spice rub blend. And it's going to be absolutely a great time here, just learning more about your spices and what your team's doing here today. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's our first time doing a competition in Atlanta, Canada. We were here last year to teach a class and couldn't wait to get back. So we're really excited to be here.
Really excited to have you. You know, Atlanta, Canada has so many great opportunities for delicious barbecue. Yeah. We have lots of good food, cooks, and just a great environment here. So it's wonderful to have you and your team here.
Thank you very much.
Now, today I really wanted to touch on your spices, though, because I think there's a lot of great Canadian companies that have awesome spice blends that we don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
And I think your company is just one of those. So,
you're absolutely right about that.
Which I tried the maple candy today and fell in love on a chicken wing. This stuff was absolutely to die for.
So that's our sweet Canadian rub. Okay. This was in R&D for years, but as a honey-based rub.
Cool.
And then by the time I got around to doing the final R&D on it in 2023, I decided to swing more of a Canadian twist, right? That's where the maple came in. So
fun.
It's a sweet maple rub. We use this on our competition ribs, on our pork, and it's a hit. It's now our top-selling rub, even though it's our most recent rub.
I love that. That's awesome. Cool. I see steak shake. The first thing I want to point out, I'm seeing thick pieces of salt in there. Is that so that when you're putting it on, you can be conscious of the amount of salt you're putting on?
That's the exact idea, right?
Nice.
And I'm a fan of lots of salt with my steak, right? This is my definition of the perfect steak seasoning.
Okay, cool.
I try to avoid the thick, chunky spices that are typical of a Canadian style steak rub.
Gotcha, yeah.
And this is meant to amplify the flavor of the beef and the steak without overpowering it.
I agree with everything you're saying. You know, I love a good Montreal steak spice, but I also agree sometimes there's just a bit too much of the spice.
Sometimes you bite into something that doesn't quite work with the beef.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool.
Bit of a twist.
What else do we got here? I see all-purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Beef rub was our first spice rub. It's our original brisket rub. We won first place at the Canadian BBQ Champion for this in 2010.
Okay.
And the rub was still in trial process at that point, but we locked it in. We haven't changed the recipe then.
15 years strong.
15 years strong.
That's awesome.
You bet.
Man. Cool.
And then the last one we have on the shelf right now is our tumbleweed all-purpose rub. So I use this on all 4 of my competition meats.
Okay.
We use it for catering in our food truck.
Perfect.
And it's the most ultimate versatile rub. Excellent on popcorn. As good as it is on popcorn as it is on ribs and chicken. Vegetables too.
Yeah, okay.
This rub's claim to fame, National BBQ Association Awards of Excellence. This rub was won first place in the entire barbecue industry of 3 separate years.
That's fantastic.
So we're really proud of that.
Oh, that's super sick, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to chit chat
welcome.
today. And remember, everyone, barbecue